Okay, so everyone right now, please take the time to update your Zoom. So if it's not updated, if you like double check right now, just go to zoom.com and make sure that your Zoom is updated because we will be using the breakout room feature. And in addition, please have your cameras on and make sure that your name is your country name. So change your name on Zoom as well.
We'll be starting in like a couple minutes.
So if your Zoom isn't updated, you can leave this call and go update it. It should only take 3 minutes.
If everyone can turn their cameras on, if you cannot turn your cameras on, DM one of the staff members and we'll help you out.
Just a minute or two and we'll start. Yeah, just give us a minute or two.
I think we're going to get started right now. So before we start with the mock conference, I'm going to go through some procedural items on motions and how to vote, etc. So firstly, we will be using breakout rooms for unmods. So when I open breakout rooms, you're going to get the option to join different ones, and you will use these breakout rooms to discuss with other people. One thing that I want to ensure is that don't make one breakout room excessively large or another one too small. Just join a fair amount of different ones and make sure that they're evenly balanced. For voting, how voting is going to work, if you go to the bottom of your window and click on participants, you should be given a couple of options to either raise hand, to click the yes green circle, or the no red circle. So if you have a motion, you're going to raise your hand and I'll call on you guys. And for voting, you are either going to do the green circle if you're going to vote for a motion, and use the red circle if you're voting against. And we're going to be using this way in order to know who's not voting and how many people are voting, so we can make sure that we're gauging everything correctly. So just to repeat myself, for a motion, you raise your hand, and if you're voting for or against a thing, you're going to do either the green yes button or the red no button. Similarly, if you have a point, make sure that you raise your hand as well. So that's all the procedural items that will be different through virtual mock conferences. If you want to send a note, you're going to private message other delegates through the private messaging option on Zoom. And that should be it. I see that some of you guys, most of you guys have renamed yourself. Make sure that you keep your cameras on throughout the entire virtual mock conference. And to the people who just joined, please rename yourself into just your country name and then your school name. So I see like Poland, for example, please remove your name and put your school name instead. And Finland, if you could add your school name. Okay, so quickly before we start, I am going to test out the breakout room feature. So do not join any breakout room, just make sure that you have the option to. And if you don't, I'll give you all 5 minutes to go update your Zoom.
Yeah.
Now we'll take the next 5 minutes to just test out breakout rooms. You can go to the breakout rooms if you just want to test it out. Just make sure you come back.
Yeah.
And then we'll close it in 5 minutes.
You press the 3 dots and you should get a feature that says join breakout room, and then you choose a room to join.
Okay,
So just try going around breakout rooms and then come back in 5 minutes. We'll close the rooms.
And if you do not have that breakout room feature, you need to go update Zoom.
Make sure you can switch rooms as well. So try to go to as many rooms as you can. If you have problems, just come back to the main room. If you cannot do it, unmute yourself and let us know. If you have questions, just unmute yourself and we'll answer your question.
For the people who have not moved yet, I trust that you guys all see the breakout room feature.
Yeah, again, please let us know or leave an update Zoom if you can't access the breakout room feature.
I don't think I can.
Okay, so I think you need to leave Zoom right now and then go update your app.
It shouldn't take more than like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so just go to zoom.com and update.
Zoom.us.
Yeah, zoom.us.
Everyone else here, Austria, Czech Republic, Dominican Republic, France, Germany, Iceland, Israel. You guys can do it all right, right?
Okay, cool. I'm gonna close all rooms now. And we'll wait an extra 3 minutes for the people who just left. Is anyone having trouble seeing the screen share? I just got a private message saying that someone can't see my screen. So are you guys all good? Okay, cool.
If you can't see the screen, it might be a problem on your end. I would just suggest leaving and rejoining.
Okay, so I think everyone is back. We're waiting on 1 or 2 people who are going to update their Zoom right now. So we'll wait until 9. I'll give them until 9:20 to start. But before we begin mock conference, I just want to make sure that everyone understands procedure. So just to restate myself, motions and points will be done through the raise hand feature, and voting will be done through the green yes button or the red no button. And since points are supposed to take precedence to motions, if you're raising your hand for a point and you're not getting called on, please private message me and I'll call on you. And just another reminder, make sure your cameras are all on and rename yourself to your country name and your school.
We're starting at 9:20, which is when we'll be opening committee. So if you need to go use the restroom or want to do anything real quick, you have 3 minutes. As a reminder, today's schedule is pretty intense. So after this break, we won't be having any breaks until lunch at 12. And lunch break is 1 hour, so you have 1 hour for lunch.
Okay, everyone, we will now be starting debate. Today we are in WHO and we're discussing mental health. And I am Anna. I'm a junior at Lynbrook and I will be your co-chair.
And I'm Pranav. I'm also a junior at Lynbrook, and I will be your other coach throughout the day.
So today I'm really looking forward to see collaborative as well as competitive discussion today. I hope you all remain respectful and use like diversified vocabulary, and I'm just really looking forward to hearing this debate today. So we're firstly going to start with roll call. So when I call your name, make sure that you either answer with present or present with voting. So the difference between the two is that in present, you can abstain when you're voting for resolutions, and for present and voting, you cannot abstain. So make sure that you choose carefully. Argentina.
As
Oh,
So
sorry. Go
as a
ahead.
reminder, if you say you're present, you still have to vote on procedural matters. You can only abstain on resolution.
Argentina.
Present and voting.
Austria.
Present.
Bangladesh. Bangladesh. Okay, Bhutan. Bhutan. Canada.
Present and voting.
Chile.
Chile is gonna come later.
Okay, cool. Colombia. Colombia. Czech Republic.
Present and voting.
Dominican Republic.
Present and voting.
El Salvador. El Salvador. Finland.
Present and voting.
France.
Present.
Germany.
Present.
Iceland.
Present.
Ireland. Ireland. Israel.
Present and voting.
Jamaica.
Present.
Kosovo.
Present and voting.
Latvia.
Present and voting.
Luxembourg. Luxembourg. Okay, El Salvador, I got your message and I'll put you as present and voting. Malaysia. Malaysia. Mali.
Present.
Moldova. Moldova. Monaco.
Present.
Myanmar. Myanmar. Netherlands. Netherlands. Nigeria.
Present.
Oman.
Present.
Peru. Peru.
Present.
Poland.
Present.
Romania.
Present.
Saudi Arabia,
Present.
United Arab Emirates,
Present.
United Kingdom, United Kingdom, United States, United States, Vietnam,
Present.
Okay, so before I start taking motions, I'm gonna rerun through the people that are absent today. Bangladesh, Bhutan, Colombia, Ireland, Luxembourg.
Present. Ireland, present.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And Luxembourg present.
Okay, cool. Malaysia, Moldova, Myanmar, Netherlands, United Kingdom, United States. Okay, sounds good. We will now start this conference. So are there any motions on the table? Reminder, if you have a motion, please raise your hand. Finland,
Motion to open debate.
okay. Abhinav, I think I can just write on the procedural doc.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Are there any other motions on the table? Saudi Arabia? Oh, never mind. Okay.
Motion to open speakers list.
I will rule that dilatory. We need to open debate first before we can take more motions. Okay, so seeing as there are no more motions on the table, we are going to vote on a motion to open debate by Finland. Please, okay, please raise your, please put the green circle if you're voting for and the red if you're voting against. Reminder that everyone should be voting on procedural items. Okay, cool. This motion clearly passes. We have now opened debate. Are there any other motions on the table? Ireland.
Motion, wait, I don't remember. Never mind.
Okay, cool. Are there any other points or motions? Monaco.
Motion to open speakers list.
Speaking time.
1 minute. 10 minutes total.
You don't need to specify length for
Oh,
speakers
okay.
list.
Are there any other motions or points? Okay, no more motions or points. Okay, cool. We will now vote on this motion for a 1 minute speakers list. Please click yes if you're for and no if you're against. Reminder that everyone should vote on procedural items. Okay, this motion clearly passes. We have now entered the speakers list. Monica, would you like to go first or last?
Last.
Okay. Please raise your hand if you would like to be added to speakers list. Ireland, Finland, Canada, Mali, Argentina. Please lower your hand if I call on you. Romania, France. I will add 2 more. Iceland, Poland. Okay, that's all the people I'll be taking. I'm going to lower all hands. Ireland, whenever you're ready.
Will I get a like a signal when my time is like 10 seconds left?
Can you see the timer right here?
Oh, okay. Never mind. I see it now.
Okay, cool.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the Delegation of Ireland feels that addressing mental health is crucial, especially during the current pandemic. Ireland has one of the highest rates of mental illness in Europe, and the stigma surrounding mental health is deeply rooted in its social norms. To address the many problems facing those suffering from mental illness, the Delegation of Ireland proposes a program entitled the Mental Education and Establishment of Treatments, or MEET. This program would provide the guidelines necessary for schools to incorporate discussing mental health into their curriculum and discuss proper ways for students to help handle stress. It would further expand the role of community support centers, which provide an invaluable service as a way for distressed citizens to seek guidance and solidarity. Let this committee meet this moment of uncertainty with strong action in providing support for mental health issues. If any other delegation agrees with these policies, please send the Delegation of Ireland a note. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Next, we have Finland.
Esteemed delegates and chair, the nation of Finland would like to help solve this crisis in any way they can because mental health is a very serious problem. Over 750 citizens of Finland die from suicide every year, and 1 in 6 people suffer from mental health problems in the EU. One of the main problems we've had in the past is not focusing on specifics with these issues, instead taking the broader route. We have tried to put in more effort recently to help combat mental health issues by setting up an online mental health hub, which helps pinpoint citizens' needs. This has been proven very successful in the country, and we have many hospitals in the country using it. We have also spent £300,000 on our national mental health strategy, hoping to further suicide prevention. One of our main goals is to spread awareness both nationally and globally through campaigns for both suicide prevention and to show that we are here to help for any mental health problems. We hope that you join us in solving this issue. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Delegate. Next, we have Canada, whenever you're ready.
Honorable chairs and esteemed delegates, the Delegation of Canada recognizes the importance of mental health education and supports increasing the healthcare system in Canada to accommodate mental health services. Currently, citizens need to pay for both mental health treatments. Mental health illnesses are extremely prevalent in Canada. It is estimated that by age 40, 50% of the population would have had or currently have a mental illness. The most common disorders include anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, mood disorders such as depression or bipolar disorder. The Delegation of Canada proposes increasing funding to build more local mental health centers and hiring professionals to help patients. Canada looks forward to partnering with other nations to raise awareness and promote mental health education in order to destigmatize mental disorders. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Next, we have Molly, whenever you're ready.
While the Delegation of Mali agrees with other delegations that mental health is an important subject and awareness is important, it would also like to place importance on educating more medical professionals trained specifically for dealing with mental health issues by providing tuition-free medical schools and also implementing mental health clinics that provide equal and affordable access to help. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Next, we have Argentina.
Esteemed Chair and Honorable Delegates, Argentina is currently suffering from a mental health crisis and is determined to prevent other nations from suffering the same fate. Moving forward, we must take initiative and attack the issue by reducing the stigma centered around mental health and inviting people to get the care they need to be healthy. We must do all that we can to protect patients and develop approaches in mental health compatible with legislators from other high-income countries. In terms of staffing our mental health initiative, we should make use of psychologists. With increasing numbers of people ailing with mental health, specialized jobs such as social workers, occupational therapists, or speech therapists are becoming too niche. We should instead use psychologists who have a more general, broad knowledge of psychology to remedy mental health disorders and illnesses as they come up.
Thank you, Delegate. I will now be taking motions. So please raise your hand if you have any motions on the table. Kosovo.
Motion to open mod caucus on the purpose of religion and mental health.
Just one reminder, you don't need to open mod caucus, and when you're motioning for moderated caucus, please say total time and then speaking time.
Okay, total time 5 minutes, speaking time 1 minute.
And can you repeat the topic again?
Religion and mental health.
Okay, thank you. Romania.
Motion to continue speakers list.
You don't need to motion to continue speakers list. If all the motions fail, then we revert back to speakers list. Dominican Republic.
A motion on a moderated caucus on primary healthcare systems.
Speaking time?
10-minute total, 1 minute speaking time.
Jamaica.
8-1 discussing stigma.
Please lower your hand if I've already called on you. Lastly, I'll take Ireland.
Motion for 10-1 on the solutions to dealing with mental health issues related to isolation.
Okay, that's all the motions I'll be taking. Voting from most to least disruptive will first vote on the Dominican Republic's motion for 10-1 on primary healthcare systems. If you are voting for, please click yes, and if you're voting against, please click no. Reminder that everyone needs to vote for a procedural item. This motion does not pass. Next, we will be voting on Ireland's motion for 10-1 on isolation and mental health. So I'm going to clear all hands right now, and please vote right now. Reminder that everyone needs to vote. Okay, this motion also does not pass. Next, we will be voting on Jamaica's motion for an 8-1 on stigma. Please vote. Okay, this motion passes. Jamaica, would you like to speak first or last?
Last, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna clear all right now. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak. Ireland. Whenever you're ready.
The Delegation of Ireland sees stigma as one of the major issues surrounding mental health. Currently, men are one of the highest targets of stigma surrounding this problem. Men are left alone without the ability to ask for help, as they believe that they will look vulnerable in the face of their family members. We need to address this issue through education in students from primary all the way until they graduate. Teaching students that it's okay to ask for help is crucial in helping them later on in life when they need that help when they're dealing with mental health. Enabling them to ask counselors how to deal with problems in their household, and encouraging them to ask others for guidance is crucial at this moment. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak. Latvia. Whenever you're ready.
Esteemed chairs, I stand before you today to explain how the Republic of Latvia has tried to combat the stigma surrounding mental health. When we decided to open an outpatient clinic 20 years ago, we built it right next to a primary school in an abandoned kindergarten building to increase the community welcomeness to the clinic. And this facility was a huge success. And we also opened another facility nearby to encourage people to seek mental help when they need it in an outpatient setting. These programs were very successful, and we suggest other countries try to move outpatient clinics and mental health help centers near community gatherings to increase community acceptance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Just a reminder, I clear all hands after every single one. Austria. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, people. Agreeing back to what the delegation of Ireland said about stigma, the delegation of Austria very agrees with that, as stigma around mental health is one of the biggest barriers in where people would ask for help. In movies and entertainment, we see people with mental health as villains, as people who are crazy, which is why people are unwilling to ask for mental health, as they'll be perceived as someone that's dangerous to the society, someone that has to be put into asylums and mental institutions. This is why we need to destroy this barrier and stigma surrounding mental health, as mental health is something that can be very life impacting to the world today. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Luxembourg. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. Following what delegates Austria and Ireland said, I do agree that the stigma is a problem not only in the entertainment industry and also in manhood, but it's also a very large problem culturally. There's this constant cultural stigma that as long as you're in a specific culture or religion, you shouldn't seek help from the government or go to community services for help. So my proposed plan is to have a cultural and mental communication connection plan, or CMCC, which would connect that divide and that gap between government help institutions and religion by training employees to be more culturally diverse with attitudes about healing system and family structure and sexual orientations, etc., and overall raising more awareness and breaking that stigma that people in specific cultures or religion can't find help from the government when they should. I yield the rest of my time to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Just a reminder to everyone, you do not need to yield your time in moderated caucuses. That's something that you do in the speakers list. Okay, so please raise your hand if you'd like to. Dominican Republic. Give me 1 second. Okay, whenever you're ready.
In the Dominican Republic, stigma has developed as general practitioners felt unprepared to manage mental illness and felt unsupported by families and communities that also held stigmatizing attitudes. Additionally, providers considered government investment in mental health services imperative to improve access to treatment. Strategies to reduce stigma among mental health care providers include governmental prioritization of mental health care, as well as formal training and clinical exposure to persons with mental illnesses in recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Iceland.
Iceland acknowledges that people using mental health services have traditionally been viewed as passive recipients, unable to articulate their own needs and wishes, and subjected to forms of care or treatment decided on and designed by others. This stigma surrounding mental disorders often leads to persons with mental illnesses having their human rights violated. To break this toxic stigma seen in society, we believe in targeting the younger generation, as suicide is the second most common cause of death among young people worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. We will be taking one last speaker before Jamaica. Please raise your hand. Monaco. Whenever you're ready.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the Delegation of Monaco agrees with Luxembourg and believes that cultural stigma is a huge reason why people affected by mental health issues are reluctant to seek the help they need. We should communicate with local leaders in traditional medicine who people might trust more easily than some faceless government entity to combat the stigma surrounding mental health. Only then can we begin to strengthen mental health infrastructures and treat mental health issues around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. And finally, we have Jamaica. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Like many other countries, prominent deterrence that stops Jamaica from speaking out on mental health issues is the stigma that surrounds the topic. In a study done in 2010, researchers found that in Jamaica, a common response to mental health issues was fear, specifically of dangerousness. This issue does not only apply to Jamaica, but also many other countries. We should come together on a united front, specifically in education, to make sure that students in primary and secondary school are understanding the falsehoods and misunderstandings that may occur in the culture in Jamaica. That will hopefully help alleviate the stigma and fear around mental health and helpfully make it less of a taboo subject. Thank you for your time. And if anything I said seems like something you agree with, please send me a note. I yield my time.
All right, thank you, Delegate. One more reminder for moderated caucuses, you don't need to yield your time, but for speakers list, you can say that. Okay, so are there any points or motions on the floor right now? Molly.
Motion for a 5-1 moderated caucus on the topic of the shortage of mental health care professionals.
Ireland.
A motion for a 10-minute unmoderated caucus.
I'm gonna rule that dilatory. I want to see a couple more moderated caucuses first. Kosovo.
Motion for a 6-1 religion and mental health.
Okay, any more points of motion? Luxembourg.
Motion for a 7-1 on governmental policies during COVID-19.
Are these governmental policies relating to mental health, or?
Yes, they're relating to mental health.
Thank you.
Are there any other motions? Points or motions? Okay, we will now vote on these motions for most of least disruptive, starting with the 7-1 on governmental policies regarding mental health during COVID-19. Please vote yes if you're for and no if you're against. Reminder that for procedural items, everyone must vote. Okay, so this motion does not pass. Next, we will vote on Kosovo's motion for 6-1 on religion and mental health. I'm going to clear all hands right now, and please vote. This motion also does not pass. Next, we have Molly's motion for a 5-1 on the shortage of mental health care professionals. Please vote on this. Reminder, if this motion does not pass, then we will be reverting back to speakers list. Okay, so this motion barely passes. Molly, would you like to go first or last?
First, please.
Okay. Whenever you.
We cannot do anything about mental health without the proper resources. And one of the most important resources we need to combat mental health issues are professionals that are trained to help combat mental illnesses. To address the shortage of people who are equipped with relevant knowledge, the Delegation of Mali proposes implementing tuition-free medical schools as an incentive for students to pursue medicine in order to successfully expand the mental health care workforce. This would make it easier for governments to expand their mental health infrastructure by having the proper people employed at hospitals. Mali also proposes securing funding for this through grants and donations from foundations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundation, for example. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. I will be encouraging those who have not spoken yet. Okay, Latvia.
Latvia believes that healthcare professionals in the mental health field should be incentivized to continue their work. We have implemented a €7 fee for service bonus for each psychiatrist when they see a patient. We suggest that other countries and the UN continue to do this and to involve the hospital staff and workers who are supposed to be working at these facilities in the decision-making regarding the creation and management of these facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Poland.
Poland believes that that we need to bring more professionals into psychology so that mental health care is more accessible to those who need it. In Poland, there are currently only one child psychologist to every 4,000 Poland citizens. This shortage amount of psychologists leads to not enough funding and also not enough patients coming in, which is how the funding of mental health clinics come from. And by increasing by increasing the number of professionals in this field, we need to increase wages so that less psychologists will head into the private sector and that individuals who are part of the public health system can have access to the mental health care. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak. France.
Thank you. France believes and agrees with the points that Molly and Poland made that a lack of medical professionals leads to higher mental health issues within the population. France agrees with the point that the UN should work on encouraging more citizens to enter the mental health field, whether it be through tuition-free schools or other methods. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. We will be taking the last speaker. Please raise your hand. Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Chair. Currently, education in psychiatry and psychology after high school is limited in Saudi Arabia, and most students must study abroad to pursue these careers. Therefore, only high-ranking staff are Saudi officials. The rest of the nursing staff are foreigners, English-speaking non-Saudi foreigners. With this lack of Saudi specialists, people with mental illnesses will be repelled from seeking treatment from people who don't understand their needs, especially religious needs. Many patients can only understand their illness in religious contexts, especially experiences and the understanding of their religion. And if the nursing staff can't understand that, they won't be able to take care of the patients in the way that they want to be taken care of, therefore discouraging patients from coming to the government supplied mental health care services. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. I will now be taking any points or motions. Please raise your hand. Ireland.
Motion for a 10-minute unmod.
Any other points or motions on the floor? Dominican Republic.
Motion for a moderated caucus on expanding mental health care services.
Time.
8-minute total, 1 minute speaking time.
Any other points or motions? Saudi Arabia.
Motion for to open a moderated caucus with a speaking time of 1 minute for 5 minutes on religion and mental health care.
Okay, Jamaica.
An 8-1 on education regarding mental health.
Okay, that's all the points and motions that I'm going to be taking. So I'm going to clear all hands right now. So voting from most to least disruptive, we have Ireland's motion for a 10-minute unmod. Please vote yes or no. Reminder that everyone should be voting. I see like 3 people that are. Okay, this motion passes. We are now in a 10-minute unmod. I am going to open. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to open the breakout room. Okay, so you guys should be able to join a breakout room right now. Remember, please make sure that the breakout rooms are evenly spaced out.
Yeah, just join whenever you're ready, you guys. Get out, go, join the room.
Yeah.
If all the officers can stay on for a couple seconds.
Yeah, but staff, please go out to look at the breakout rooms afterwards.
Nearby support centers that that the patient would be able to go to if they need further help after they leave a hospital, so that they aren't left alone to deal with their own problems.
Absolutely, but we should also make sure that people are getting the help they need in the first place. And I think Luxembourg also talked about that a little, which is we reach out to local community members who might specialize in traditional medicine and get them to tell the people in their community that mental health is not something to be ashamed of, and it exists, and if they have any issues, to seek the help they need.
When you say traditional methods, do you mean religious? Because in a lot of countries, healthcare is secular, and that sort of discourages people who are very religious.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the secularism and the stigma, that can all be combated if we reach out to people who the community trusts, so that they can then know that it's not a problem and that they can seek the help they need.
You say having mental health care with religious institutions, would that be something you would like to do?
Well, I think that religious, you know, medicinal leaders I'm sure they have their own rituals for that kind of thing, but it's really more about telling them and encouraging people to seek help from government organizations or NGOs.
Yeah, I agree with that. So part of my plan was exactly targeting that problem. I wouldn't know if we would exactly mix like these governmental health institutions with religious ones, but what I would do instead is just making sure that the workers that are provided in community services are knowledgeable on these traditional values, and so people might not be offended, and also making sure that these possibly indigenous or cultural people also do have a lot of access to medications when they need it.
The delegation of Ireland agrees. I think the delegation thinks that compared to other blocks that might believe that like we need that the UN needs to fund make healthcare fund physicians like free tuition. I think it's more realistic to have like easily replicatable like guidelines for like priests or community members that are they're trusted, they're community based, so that the members of the community don't feel it's like government imposing mental health on them. Like it's more community centered instead of, it would be much more replicable and easier.
And I think that's especially effective in such a homogenous, both ethnically and religiously homogenous country such as Romania. And I know many of your countries are like that too.
Yeah, but now that we talked about like outpatient facilities and also cultural facilities, are there like any other delegates with some ideas that we could bring up and listen to your voices too?
I just wanted to say that Vietnam currently has 600 outpatient healthcare, mental health care facilities, which are those for people in need of short-term health care. This delegation agrees with what Luxembourg and others have said, that that cultural leaders need to influence those around them, so it doesn't seem like the government's forcing it or anything. That's what this delegation agrees with, like what Ireland said. Yeah.
And I think we need both long-term and short-term solutions, because long-term we want to address the root causes of mental health, such as poverty and social exclusion in disadvantaged children.
The delegation of Ireland would like to remind fellow delegates that this is the World Health Organization. We can't do much except release guidelines. We don't have the power to, make tuition free.
We want both short-term
and also
long-term
like
solutions.
I think we're specifically talking about how to deal with mental health in a crisis, and there's no way to really combat a crisis. Like, how do you prevent an earthquake from happening?
Yes, speaking of that, I think it's really important we shift the conversation to COVID-19 right now, because it is happening right now in many countries, and the increased use of substance abuse and mental health disorders has increased like exponentially over many of our countries. So I think we should discuss the solutions to that, because yeah, I agree with, we have to think of short-term and long-term solutions too.
Does the Czech Republic or Canada have any input on current mental health problems during isolation?
Oh, I have a solution. Okay, so the delegation of El Salvador has had some problems in the past with the El Salvadorian Civil War and with some occasions on earthquakes and hurricanes. And most of the time, people get a neuropsychiatric disorder, which can lead to attention deficit disorders or cognitive deficit disorders. And ways that we can prevent this from happening in the first place is to make some of these places to get mental health more community-based instead of more national-based, because the way that El Salvador is making it is appointing national officers and people instead of the community, and just like putting more outreach. I feel like if we like reach out more to the community and tell people that there is serious that like if you need help, you can go to these services, then I feel like that we can prevent many cases from happening of mental health issues.
Exactly. I think a common theme here is that we have to develop trust between the people and the mental health facilities.
Yeah.
And we can do that by reaching out through the community.
My
During
bad.
COVID, where a lot of in-person services are near impossible.
Yeah, but I think Vietnam wanted to say something.
Wait, why? There's no one else here.
Kyle, you just said
Rooms
power
haven't
deli.
closed yet. Kyle, you need to be more power deli.
Okay, I will. I've been asking people to talk. Okay, it's 3 people talking.
Good. It's all right. It's all right. This has a low-key vibe, this conference.
And I stopped. Why don't you call on me?
Because
I
you
was
spoke like every single time.
I was so ready to destroy them. Oh
Dude, I
my
swear you spoken like every single time.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're just waiting on 10, 20 more people, 15 more people. Okay, everyone's back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I will now be taking more points and motions. Finland.
Motion for a 6-minute 45-second speaking time about, and the topic would be like what we talked about during the Unmod.
Ireland.
Motion for a 10-1, sorry, an 8-1 on discussing the feasibility of what the WHO can do right now.
Dominican Republic.
8-1 moderated caucus on expanding mental health care services to rural areas.
Okay. Any more motions or points? Okay. We will now vote from most to least disruptive, starting with Ireland's motion on the feasibility of what WHO can do. Please vote yes or no. Okay, with 5-4 and 13 against, 6-4, 13 against, this motion does not pass. I'm going to lower all hands. Next, we will be voting on Dominican Republic's motion for 8-1 on expanding mental health care services to rural areas. Please vote yes or no. Reminder that everyone needs to vote. I can see all the people who aren't voting. This motion passes. Dominican Republic, would you like to go first or last?
First.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Currently in the Dominican Republic, almost all psychiatric beds are concentrated in the mental hospital and psychiatric units within general hospitals, which are located in the country's urban areas. This concentration of resources in urban areas prevents rural users from accessing mental health care services. Our plan is to close a psychiatric hospital in a large urban area and open new psychiatric inpatient units in medical hospitals, optimizing the current inpatient units and updating the mental health care centers by creating a supervised residence for people with chronic mental illness. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Next we have, next please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. But actually, I'm gonna clear all hands because some people are still voting. Please raise your hand right now. I highly recommend people who have not spoken yet to raise their hand. Kosovo, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Kosovo is a relatively rural country and is an economically struggling country. Kosovo has one main asylum called the Stein Special Institution, but was transformed into a center for integration and rehabilitation for long-term patients. For Kosovo, mental health is one of the top 3 priorities. So by expanding mental health care to those areas that aren't in the main cities, Kosovo could really update and improve its mental health situation, as well as improving the stances and stigmas surrounding mental health in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Vietnam.
This delegate would like to say that already the national mental health programming industry almost covers 30% of the country. I feel that that I agreed with what Kosovo said, that we should improve the stigmas around mental health and make it more acceptable to talk about, especially in rural areas. This being said, I believe that a way to do that is to encourage those to talk about it and to encourage people using these services. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you would like to speak. El Salvador.
The delegation of El Salvador.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, no. Okay, thank you. The delegation of El Salvador agrees with what Vietnam and Kosovo said in having access to many facilities about mental health care around the world, because in El Salvador, mainly the mental health care and just regular health care facilities are located in the middle of the city, which is like a place that some people like in rural areas, like it'll take a long time to drive to. And more issues is that sometimes they won't have like a lot of awareness about this, or they also can't afford it. So I think what we should do is make the mental health care a little bit more affordable and make the areas and where you can access mental health care in closer, because if it's very far away, then there's chances that some people might not even want to access the mental health care. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Next, please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Niger. Whenever you're
Chair. The delegation of Niger agrees with what El Salvador says, and we have a similar situation where mass of the psychiatric hospitals and services offered in the Republic of Niger are centralized in the capital city of Niamey, and there's actually only one neuropsychiatric hospital throughout the whole city. So there's a clear lack of mental health services. So one plan was a program of delivery following a modified community-based rehabilitation model. And this should be implemented in a non-governmental section of non-governmental sector in a country like Niger, in a rural area, to increase knowledge and services for struggling people.
Thank you, Delegate. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Highly recommend those who have not spoken yet. Czech Republic.
Thank you. So the Czech Republic believes that mental health services need to be greatly increased. Currently, the funding towards these services everywhere is already pretty low at 4% of the whole healthcare sector funding. and patients are just crammed into a general hospital where there are not specialists. So obviously this is also going to carry into the rural areas, and there's not much like promotion for mental health. And because of this, one proposed solution is like just to increase funding in general.
Thank you, Delegate. I will be taking 2 more speakers. Romania.
As you all know, in rural areas, it's really hard to access mental health care, especially when the mental health care services are located in centralized and urban areas, usually overseen by the government. In order to combat this, we should look for mental health services in their community, in the community that they trust, their community leaders, religious leaders. We should try to develop mental health services within their community. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. I will be taking 1 final speaker. Monaco.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the Delegation of Monaco agrees that access to healthcare and addressing the mental health stigma is crucial in expanding healthcare in rural areas. We should encourage NGOs and healthcare professionals to treat more people in rural areas and communicate with local people in these communities in order to gain their trust and make sure they realize the options that are available for treating mental health. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. With that, this moderated caucus is over, and I will be taking any points or motions right now. Saudi Arabia.
A motion to extend debate on expanding mental health care services to rural areas.
How long?
For 3 minutes, 1 minute speaking time.
Okay. Any other points or motions? Jamaica.
6-1 for how to get more people into the medical field.
Ireland.
Motion for 6-1 on assisting community support centers.
Any other points or motions? Okay, seeing none, we will now vote first on the 3-1 extension by Saudi Arabia. Okay, on a 7-12 vote, this does not pass. Next, we have Jamaica's motion for a 6-1 on how to get more people into the medical field. Since this vote is really close, there are 4 people who are not voting, so please vote. Okay, this is tied 13-13, so this motion does not pass. Next, we have Ireland's motion for a 6-1 on assisting community support centers. Just a reminder that if this does not pass, we will be reverting back to speakers list. Okay, this is really close. Please vote if you have not voted yet. I see 3 that have not voted. Okay, there's 2 people that aren't voting and it's tied right now, so please vote. Don't make me call out your name. Okay, Saudi Arabia and Iceland. Okay, this motion does not pass. So we will be reverting back to speakers list. Okay, so Romania, whenever you're ready.
Suicide is the leading external cause for death in Romania and for many other countries around the world. The country of Romania believes that the stigma around mental health is a significant issue, and the lack of sustained and proper mental health systems fail to alleviate the economic and social burdens, therefore hindering the betterment and jeopardizing the well-being of our country. To provide the much-needed relief and support, Romania proposes the continued funding and establishment of mental health curricula in both primary and secondary education, with a series of special programs targeting youth at high risk of social exclusion, such as ethnic minorities and street children. We call upon the international community to enact the PMAP, Preventive Mental Health Action Plan, a global effort to combat the rising mental health issues. Thank you.
Okay, so I will be taking any points or motions on the floor right now. Any points or motions, or we're just going to continue speakers list. Finland.
Would it be okay to motion for an unmod right now? Or a point of inquiry, I guess. But
Yeah, it would.
Motion for a 10-minute unmod.
Okay. Luxembourg.
Motion for an 8-1 moderate caucus on access to medication, mental health medication.
And finally, we have Kosovo.
Motion for a 5-minute unmod.
Okay, cool. From most least disruptive, we have Finland's motion for a 10-minute unmod. Please vote yes or no. This motion clearly passes. We are now in a 10-minute unmod. I will open rooms right now. Okay, I just opened all rooms. You should be able to join. And I am starting the timer right now.
Session that we had, me and Saudi Arabia kind of like talked a little bit, and then we found out that Kosovo and their Breakout Room 6 is also similar to our ideas in like spreading awareness and like so I don't know if you guys want to like go.
I'd be down to visit them if anyone wants to come and talk about our ideas.
Wait, what did you say?
Oh, I'll be going to Breakout Room 6 to see if I can draw people in.
Romania's already there. Is like Romania like here or like?
Wait,
Like,
Jamaica already went, so.
Okay, well, we can like discuss some things, I guess. Like, what are, like, how do you guys plan to spread awareness?
Well, I think
Any action, like,
And compared to other countries, like America definitely has a higher one, but you shouldn't ignore these. There's a huge prevalence of 10 common mental disorders, and in 2014, 2.45% of 14.25% were depressive disorders. So yeah, so far, Vietnam really has just these facilities that are there for people in need of short-term healthcare, but outpatient offers for those in need without being admitted to a hospital. But there aren't really services which specific.
That could work in like rural areas, just kind of making that part of like the educational plan.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just to like, fight.
They're already established, like trusted in. I don't know. Yeah.
So how about like
just like giving
non-religious
them
people
the
in the
resources
community?
that, like giving them the resources they need.
So that would be through like WHO guidelines.
Yeah, resources as in guidelines.
Yeah,
So if someone was non-religious, would they still seek for religion, which is a unifying factor? How would it work for them?
Well, if they're not religious, they still have other people. Like I was thinking of training barbers. Like you have a connection with like your barber that you've been going to for 10 years. You talk to them about personal matters. Training them and training them how to identify possible mental health, like training them.
Obviously, so if you're going to offer help, then you have to go through with it. So in that case, I guess our main points would be education, expanding to rural areas, and like you said, infrastructure.
I feel like for rural areas, it would be better to just have like small, definitely not like big, like maybe like small clinics kind of, because like it's rural areas, so there's not that many people. But
also for like rural areas, I feel like if we had just smaller but more spread out mental health services, that would really like help. But we also need to like have more mental health professionals to like make sure these like smaller places are staffed.
Right. So like in rural areas, there's not that many like specialists, I would say. Like I was looking into it, and there are doctors obviously, but there's no one that can like specialize in certain things because it's so, the small population means that the doctors have to be very broad in what they work in. So if we could like push out, like maybe have some professionals in rural areas or clinics that specialize in mental health, that would be like the best thing, I guess. But at the same time, rural areas, there's just like, you can't do much.
I feel like having it's kind of like regular medical, like I don't think having specialists, like specialists is like
psychiatrists, sorry, so early.
I feel like having people that like not just like primary care doctors, just like psychiatrists, like I think those are like good, but I don't think like rural areas need like specialists because like it's kind of like regular medicine too, right? Like you wouldn't go to the special doctor for like,
right, but like I feel like instead of like general medicine doctors, like which is like a normal doctor, we should have at least like a psychiatrist or something, which
definitely
Yeah, but also like a problem with rural areas is that they tend to be like more religious, and there's sometimes like religious stigma with going to mental health professionals. So I feel like we need to like solve that problem for people in rural areas to be able to like trust mental health professionals. Jamaica, what did you hear from the other breakout rooms?
Yeah, so they're mainly focused on religion, so they want to impact through religious organizations instead of school. But I know that Saudi Arabia is still talking to them, and that could still change. We'll see when she comes back. But they have a really large breakout room.
Yeah.
So they're mainly focused on like religion. So those are religious countries then, right?
Yeah, and also rural areas, like making sure. I mean, I think we have pretty similar goals though.
Right.
Regardless.
Like
our country least my country isn't as rural. My country is actually pretty wealthy, so I feel
Yeah,
like,
my country is also like more urban than rural.
so I feel like we're different. So I think we can like still keep.
Yeah, also I don't think my country is like religious, right? So like I'm not
Wait, just really quickly, what is our opinion of the other breakout room? So they're targeting like religious institutions to try to get them to influence the population, right? Is that what you said?
Basically, but we have to see when Saudi Arabia comes back, or
Okay.
if she comes back.
Because I'm not sure if we should be intervening in like religious matters, especially if we're trying to change their belief. I definitely think that there's room to impress upon them that mental health is a humanitarian issue and not one of religion. But I don't agree with their point of view of targeting specifically religions, because I think that's kind of dangerous in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like agreeing with what Fran said, like mental health and religion, like there is connection, but they don't rely on each other. So I feel like mental health is for all and doesn't have to do with just one religion kind of.
Yeah, so I prefer our method of targeting education instead of religion.
And like we could always push out campaigns that like destigmatize for mental health, which could be a good thing, but at the same time, like don't really talk about religion because religion is like a super sacred thing, and I feel like it's always hit or miss where like if you say something.
Yeah, it could actually push people away from mental health if a government organization comes to them and tries to change their beliefs. That's like a really bad mixture in my opinion. It could go really badly.
So like more thing. Oh yeah, you can speak.
I was just gonna say, I feel like this is a pretty good block and we have some ideas out. If we want to start like outlining a resolution, we totally can, but like up to you guys.
So our main ideas are kind of just focused on education and like spreading awareness, not having to do with religion and stuff.
Right, and getting like access for rural areas. Is that what we're going to do?
Really quick about the Mali proposed resolution, like what is in it right now. I don't really know about the full ride scholarships, just because we're kind of strapped for cash. But yeah, I'd be willing to talk more about that. I think that's something we haven't talked much about.
Yeah, I visited their breakout room in the previous Unmod. They were very focused on that idea, and I talked to them about it. It doesn't seem like they want to budge that much on. Actually, Molly's here. Could you reinstate your opinion on college free or like tuition free universities for mental health?
Yeah, so what we want to do is we took into account some of the ideas and suggestions from other countries, and we decided on maybe proposing tuition-free medical school and education for those studying to work in mental health care, and also pushing for higher wages in order to provide more incentives for people to start working in this, and so we can easily expand this field, I guess.
But if you're gonna push higher wages, that means patients are charged more. That means like less people will come to you.
No. So a policy we have in Mali is, of course, free healthcare, and that would still stay, but we would request for funding through other foundations.
This next Unmod.
You guys.
All right. Is everybody here?
Okay, so
I think
quickly
so.
before we switch chairs, I'm gonna say some quick things. Firstly, I noticed that some of you are starting to write your resolutions, so we're doing a 3 sponsor cap and a 7 signatory minimum. And one other thing is that we want to ensure that everyone's speaking in equal amounts. So if you have not spoken or only spoken once and you're raising your hand and you feel like the chairs are not calling on you, feel free to just send the chair a message. And if you've spoken like 2 or 3 or more times and you feel like people are not calling on you, then it's because we just want to guarantee that everyone's speaking an equal amount.
Also, we're going to take a quick, like a 1 minute pause real quick. I'm going to take a group photo. This is going to be going on our social media. So if you do not want to be included in the group photo, please turn your camera off, and then we won't include you. But if you would like to be included, do something exciting. Don't look dead inside, so that when it goes up on Instagram, you don't look like you want to die. Alrighty. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1.
Is the photo done yet?
Alrighty, yeah.
All right, I guess we can start now. Okay, with that, are there any points or motions on the floor? Finland.
Wait, are we like, oh, point of inquiry. Is this like for motioning like an unmod/mod? Yeah.
What? Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
unmods mods.
8.1 discussing what happened in the unmod.
Okay. Next we have France.
5-1 on the topic of ways to assist developing countries regarding mental health.
Okay. Are there any other points or motions on the floor? Okay, seeing none, we will now vote on these for most least disruptive. We'll start with Finland's 8-1 on a recap of the unmod. All those in favor, do the red, green thing. I'm not seeing all the votes. If everyone could please vote. All right, this motion clearly passes. Okay, we are now in a mod 8-1 on what happened in the unmod. I will now be taking speakers. Finland, would you like to go first or last?
I can go first.
You can go first. All right. One sec. All right. Whenever you're ready.
Cool. So in Breakout Room 2, nations of Finland, Austria, France, Jamaica, we've all gotten together and decided that our main focuses will be pushing mental health through education, getting campaigns out to rural areas, and especially helping out rural areas for their mental health, rural areas and developing countries. If these are topics that you want to push, you're so welcome to join us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Poland.
So in our breakout room, we discuss heavily on how we can use religion to bring mental health care to more of the population. So we discussed with Kosovo. There was, I think, I'm sorry, El Salvador and Israel, as countries that are all majority dominated religious. We thought that by bringing mental health care to the religious groups and by assisting them, then we can bring more trust into the individuals and also bring healthcare to them.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Chair. I was in Breakout Room 2, and I support their issue. However, I was visiting Breakout Room 6 because I thought they had similar interests, and I agree that countries that have an immediate need for mental health services, might be against rooting mental health education in primary education. However, I think that is a very viable way to bring awareness and also to help religious countries as well gain like good information on what mental health illnesses are and how they can actually help their patients, especially traditional healers. They need to know a lot about mental health care because patients might prefer to go to those instead of government services.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Monaco.
As Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, in our breakout room, we discussed three main aspects relating to mental health: combating the mental health stigma through primary and secondary education, setting up community support centers, and providing mental health resources to trusted community leaders, and strengthening infrastructure to increase access to medication in less economically developed countries. If any of that sounds like something your delegation would want to consider, please join us in Breakout Room 9.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, I think we have time for one more speaker. Jamaica.
So I'd just like to really quickly add to Finland's speech about Breakout Room 2. So we're interested in engaging more people into the medical field as many of our countries are currently short of staff. And we would like to possibly work with foundations to provide partial scholarships to more people. And many of our countries are currently in a lack of, we are currently in an economic crisis because of COVID-19, and we don't have that much extra money to spend. However, we would still be interested in making sure more people are getting into the medical field. So if this is something you'd be interested in talking over, we'll be in Breakout Room 2.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, this exhausts our moderated caucus. I will now be accepting points or motions. That means you can raise your hand for a point or motion. Ireland.
Motion for a 6-1 on discussing how to treat isolation during the current pandemic.
Thank you. Dominican Republic.
A moderated caucus on how to finance mental health care services, 8-1.
Okay. Luxembourg.
An 8-1 on assisting and providing resources to developing countries.
Okay. Oh, I think I've made a mistake. My apologies. I think I forgot. Oh, I was thinking it was a 5-1 instead of an 8-1. I'm sorry. We'll take 3 more speakers on the previous mod, and we'll save these 3 here. My apologies. I forgot to see that we had 3 other speakers left on that. So we'll go back to the 8-1 on the unmod. We'll keep these 3 motions here, don't worry. So we'll come back to these at the end. So all those wishing to speak on the 8-1 on the unmod, please raise your hand. Kosovo.
Thank you, Judge. Kosovo was in Breakout Room 6 with countries like Saudi Arabia, Dominican Republic, and Poland. We discussed how religion and how rural countries can adapt to mental health reforms and how we can implement more medical health, more medical training staff, and more professionals, as well as integrating it with religious institutions. If your country is developing or has strong religious views, please join Breakout Room 6. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. UAE.
Okay, so I was in breakout. Okay, so the UAE was in Breakout Room 2, and we mostly talked about how to prevent stigma from mental health by providing educational services for schools and in communities. By having more like community-based education services, it'll be easier to prevent social stigma to the surrounding mental health, because for younger kids, it's easier to learn, and it's easier for them to like understand that there are mental services available. Also, teenagers are very at risk for mental health services, and by starting young, we can prevent mental issues and we can educate people on the mental services available. And if you're interested in education and community-based mental health services, please join Breakout Room 2.
Thank you, Delegate. Now this is our actual last speaker for this caucus. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hand. El Salvador.
Okay, thank you. So El Salvador was in breakout room with 6, along with Poland and Kosovo, and we talked mainly on ideas facing religion in mental health care. We believe that because most of our country is made up of religion, the best ways to get mental health care is to go by community and religious purposes. Because in places like these, people mainly look up to religion and trust these religions. If you are in like mainly like a rural like country area that also has a country that focuses more on religion, please join breakout room 6.
Thank you, Delegate. Now this actually exhausts our moderated caucus. Apologies for the mix-up once again, and next time this happens, feel free to just call out point of order and let me know. So now we'll be voting on this. I'll take one more motion or point, and then we can vote on these. Okay, seeing none, we'll now vote on these motions from most to least disruptive. We'll start with Dominican Republic's 8-1 on financing for solutions. Please vote. Okay, this motion clearly fails. Next, we will go to Luxembourg's 8-1 on assistance and resources to developing countries. Please vote. I think we're missing a few people. And this motion passes. We're now in an 8-1 on assistance and resources to developing countries. Okay. Now, Luxembourg, would like to go first or last?
I would like to go first.
Okay, very well, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So in breakout room 9, we've talked about this problem a lot, and we all care about this problem deeply. So one of the ways that we're providing this assistance to developing countries is Monaco, I believe, mentioned this, is the access to medication, because that's the foundation of mental health care. So how we would do this is we would first monitor and research what their current supply chain looks like, because a lot of developing countries have faulty supply chains that the end result is giving these citizens faulty and falsified drugs. And by doing this, we would then build more infrastructure and community services to distribute these medications and also distribute other services along with that. And another large problem in developing countries is substance abuse because of COVID-19 lockdowns and quarantines. So that's also another solution we're looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Okay, all those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. France.
Thank you. France believes that funding from the World Health Organization should be directed towards reducing the social stigmas associated with mental health in developing countries. Developing countries usually do not have a solid mental health and disaster relief infrastructure, making it hard for victims to reach out for help after being affected. In addition to this, modern issues such as mental health are not usually integrated into the education system in developing countries, making it difficult for victims to locate appropriate help even if they do want to be treated. For these reasons, France believes that funding should be used to 1. Integrate modern issues such as mental health into the education system of developing countries to reduce stigmas at an early age, and 2. Set up a solid mental health infrastructure in developing countries to allow victims to reach out for help. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, all those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to clear something up to people. We don't want to like add a new mental health program. I think at least what what the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was thinking was that we could actually integrate it into our our school system. So like it could be like a subject that we take or part of like a biology class. And I think that would just get the word out to everyone who comes because everyone's going to go through school no matter what.
Thank you, Delegate. All right. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Ireland?
Delegation of Ireland strongly believes in the topic of education and reducing the stigma that previous delegations have mentioned. If you agree with these topics, please please be a signatory for a resolution please be a sponsor of a resolution in Breakout Room 9. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Okay. All those wishing to speak? Finland.
So I agree with the nation of France and how they want to go and assist resources to developing countries. I would also say that this would be developing countries / rural areas because both are in desperate need of more mental health services. We really want to include like campaigns that help destigmatize mental health, especially in rural areas, which are more, I would say, conservative or more religious in a sense. And we want to help developing countries with any resources we can, whether that be providing medical need or giving them access to the primary care they need, and like psychiatrists and mental health. If these interest you, please join us and help us write our resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak? Poland?
I want to emphasize the idea on education for mental health, but not just raising awareness of it, but specifically also allowing people to kind of have a general sense of what a mental illness looks like. This way, individuals will know whether or not they should get mental health, because oftentimes individuals are not aware of the mental illness that they see with their family members or even in themselves. But with education on that, individuals will be more likely to also head into to get mental health care from professionals.
Thank you, Poland. Okay, all those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Molly.
The delegation of Mali has identified that one of the main reasons behind a lack of professionals is the high cost of pursuing a career in mental health care, and therefore would like to propose SWHO, a program designed to efficiently address the critical lack of mental health care professionals. The program utilizes grants and donations to provide full-ride scholarships for students looking to pursue a career in mental health care in low-income and developing countries. This would result in students having an incentive to pursue related careers and has actually been implemented at other universities, such as NYU, which after implementing tuition-free medical school has seen an increase in medical application and has been able to increase its medical student body. We believe that this is the most effective way of providing resources to developing countries as it allows governments to easily expand its mental health care workforce. Please send this delegation notes if you are interested in becoming a signatory for our resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, we have one last speaker left in this moderated caucus. Please raise your hands. Czech Republic.
The delegation of the Czech Republic believes that we do need to assist developing countries, and one proposed solution that we have, or that I have, is that we could not only implement this into education in schools, but also have like, maybe it's not possible right now, but like a presentation or like a webinar or something to educate adults on this topic also, because these developing countries don't have, because they probably didn't learn it in their schools when they were younger also. So I believe it's important to educate the adults also.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, now this exhausts our moderated caucus. I will now be taking points of motions. Ireland.
Motion for 10-minute unmod.
That is in order. Any other points or motions? All right. Seeing none, we will now vote on Ireland's motion for a 10-minute unmod. All those in favor, please, favor or opposed. Okay, this passes almost unanimously. We are now in a 10-minute unmod. Yeah, breakout rooms are opened. You may join the room. And feel free to use the chat.
If you're interested in this block.
Oh, wait. It's not editable.
Send a note.
Jamaica. Okay, let me just see where she is.
She's in room 2.
Room 2. Okay, let me just go to room 2 and I mean.
Yeah, sure. So one resolution I think we all mentioned and had in mind was the implementation of mental health professionals in religious institutions, maybe such as mosques or like the respective religious institutions for each particular country. Argentina, did you
go? Yeah, I guess we've already talked about, I guess, using a lot of religion, I think, to spread awareness about mental health. But yes, other walks have talked about free medical school, but Argentina has 222 per 100,000 psychologists, which dwarfs the 16 psychiatrists. So I think we should also do something to, I guess, retool the I guess, medical staff that we have.
Peru, could you talk about your solutions?
Because like our Peru is also like predominantly Catholic, and COVID like is kind of hitting like Peru pretty hard. I think one thing that could be pretty effective would be family counseling, because like when families lose someone due to COVID, like everyone's affected by it. So, and it would also help like deal with the stigma about how mental illnesses are, or health is like an individual thing, because if you have everyone doing it, like that kind of like helps like build trust between everyone.
Do you think at this point we should start drafting a resolution? I can send a draft to everyone, so then we could just put in all of our ideas and bullet points, and then we can go through it there.
Austrian France, we were guessing like our main arts, and I think
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that my country can fund or can like have full ride scholarships at the
And
moment.
this resolution mainly focus on like the educational system targeting like the younger generation, and Molly can kind of focus on the, the health workers. And so if you want to stay with this resolution, then this resolution would mainly focus on like the younger generation and how to promote the fight against the stigma surrounding mental disorder.
Yeah, this like breakout room is more about like educating and preventing stigma in like schools and in younger kids.
Yeah, there are like two types of like education we're kind of talking about right now, and I think like so should we
Break off.
discuss first? Like
I feel like
I have a
someone's
Latvia.
just like a question. Are we also going to focus a little more about expanding to rural areas and expand? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just in reply to
by the way, I'm from room 6, where we're focusing on developing countries and how to expand mental health care in those areas. So I think Oman and Austria and Saudi Arabia, you guys have kind of similar views to that. So if you would like to go to room 6 and check it out and introduce yourself, that would be great.
I think we would be interested in, or at least I would be interested in being a signatory for your resolution, and maybe vice versa, just because we have very similar ideas. But I think the only difference we have is like religion and where to implement.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't a major part of your resolution to integrate mental health like into religion, or like try to push it into religion? Is that
That's a part of it, but we're also focusing on economically struggling countries that just need expansion of mental health care in general.
Okay, so how many different like ideas is being presented in this breakout room? Because we have like Molly's her scholarship.
I think she left.
Oh yeah, I left Molly's thing. I don't think I agree with it anymore.
So right now I think we have like the two education systems. Like one is for the like put into school, and then the other one that Iceland talked about. And then the second thing we talked about is like awareness, spreading awareness into the rural areas. So if anyone else has like ideas.
I think we should start like outlining.
Okay, so I have a document with my other block members. So
wait, I just created a document. Should I not do I oh we can use yours. That's I haven't started mine. So
it's just blank, but
okay, sweet.
We can do yours.
I'm gonna
wait, we can just use the one in the chat.
Okay.
I'm on the chat one. I'm too lazy.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to. Okay, because it like takes forever to give everyone your email and then type it in and then.
So can you change the edit access?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you guys on view? I'm sorry.
So basically, we only have like 2 minutes, I think, but
Write down the main points that we want to do, and then we can like next unmod we can go into the preamble. We can like break it down and write the resolution. But right now, like let's get the main points out there.
Something I wanted to make clear: are we all here opposed to Room 6's resolution of pushing mental health services into religion?
Yeah, I'm not a religious country, so like
we're
I'm
not a religious country here either.
Saudi Arabia is like pretty religious, especially because it's like rooted in the government. But like I don't agree with them like wanting to push mental health services by just moving people from the hospitals to their places, because Saudi Arabia is not a particularly like less developed country, because like it has like a billion
about like Saudi Arabia, and like it's obviously it's a Muslim country, right? Like that's the main religion. So do you know if that the religion of or the Nation of Islam, like does that have any effect on the stigma around mental health? And if so, like would it be better to go through a religious organization?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that like a lot of people would prefer going to traditional healers, as I said before, rather than government services. And so that's why I think we have to like root in education so that it's like kind of a mandatory subject, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I
that
agree with like Saudi Arabia about how like because the UAE is also like a pretty religious Islamic country, and but I feel like I don't agree with Group 6 with like forcing religion and mental health services together. I think like a better solution is educating on stigma so that religion doesn't become a factor to hinder mental health services.
I think like one of the biggest things that we're all trying to like, I think like the vague, like the biggest topic that surrounds like just like the minor points is just fighting that stigma. Okay, it's gonna close soon.
Yeah, my.
Okay. All right. Is everybody here? Yes. Okay. I will now be taking points and motions. Saudi Arabia.
motion to extend Unmod by 10 minutes.
I'm going to rule that dilatory. I want to see some mods. Sorry. Points and
Just to
motions.
quickly interject, please share your working papers with Lynbrook MUN at gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay. Points and motions. Kosovo.
Motion for a 5-1 discussing proposed solutions.
Okay, that's in order. Any other points and motions? All right, seeing none, we will now vote on Kosovo's 5-1 and proposed solutions. Please vote at this time. Reminder that everybody has to vote. Okay, this motion passes. Kosovo, would you like to go first or last?
Last.
Very well. Okay. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Vietnam. 1 second, sorry.
Proposed solution is to have a mental health task force for developing countries, like disaster relief and more long-term solutions. Big one is to improve on the infrastructure of dealing with this crisis, such as improving facilities and expanding them into rural areas, and also supporting religious institutions, since like a lot of people, a large amount of countries in my breakout room were religious. So spread awareness through mental health care or in religious institutions or with cultural leaders, and ensuring that people can access to remote mental health services that correlate with their religion or culture. Yes.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, all those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Romania.
I'd like to speak on behalf of Breakout Room 9's solution, which is very comprehensive and has multiple facets targeting different parts of the mental health crises, with a specific focus on religion and religious cooperation between the WHO and community religious establishments. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those wishing to speak. Ireland.
Another aspect, fellow delegates, another aspect of our resolution in Breakout Room 9 is to provide religious leaders or just leaders in the community in general with proper training and guidelines to follow in how to address mental health problems that they see arising in their community. This way, it makes the problem of mental health more easily accessible and more replicable across the country, as people trust their priests or just leaders in their community in general to give them valuable advice. And so we must prioritize training these leaders in how to properly deal with mental health, providing support for those in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, our next speaker is Dominican Republic. And then after that, we will go with Kosovo. All right, Dominican Republic, you have the floor.
The Dominican Republic proposes solutions on establishing strategies for allocating human resources and ensuring coverage of mental health services in rural areas and the interior of the country. Additionally, the Dominican Republic has continued to set and develop mental health care standards and protocols for primary care workers. These protocols were developed with the support of the PAHO. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. And our last speaker for this caucus will be Kosovo. Kosovo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Judge. Kosovo was in Breakout Room 6, along with Vietnam. Our proposed solutions were supporting religious institutions, which is our main solution. And by supporting religious institutions, we plan to spread awareness about mental health care within religious institutions and making mental health care available in all those institutions. We also propose a mental health task force for developing countries, which would improve on the infrastructure of dealing with this crisis, such as improving facilities and expanding the help into rural areas. Because several of our countries are rural and developing, we want to cater towards those that don't have as much availability with mental health care. We also want to create mental health programs for youth and encourage mental health training and professional mental health careers.
All right, your time has elapsed. Thank you, Delegate. Okay, I will now be taking points or motions. Yeah, are there any points or motions on the floor? Dominican Republic.
Motion for a 5-1 moderated caucus on primary healthcare systems.
Hang on, let me see. Romania.
A motion for a 10-minute unmod.
That is in order. Jamaica.
Ideas for campaigns on how to destigmatize.
Okay. Can you specify a speaking time? And
Oh, sorry, my bad. 6-1.
6-1. And this was Jamaica. All right. Give me a second. All right. We'll now be voting on these from most to least disruptive. We will start with Jamaica's 6-1 on destigmatizing mental illness. Please vote. It's a pretty close vote, so everybody has to vote here.
Point of inquiry, can you repeat what we're voting on again, please?
Yes, we're voting on Jamaica's 6-1 on campaigns to destigmatize mental illness.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We're still missing a few votes. All right, this motion passes. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. We're now in a 6-1 mod on destigmatizing mental illness. Jamaica, you want to speak first or last?
Last, please.
Last, very well. All right, all those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Luxembourg?
Thank you. In Breakout Room 9, one of our large solutions is providing awareness and stigma campaigns. So one of the foundations of where the stigma is rooted is in education itself. So to solve this problem, we're developing a mental health awareness curriculums in schools to teach children not to have stigmas on mental health issues, and eradicating stigma help in schools too, and promote help when these children need it.
So sorry, you guys. We made a mistake. 10-minute unmod is most disruptive, so it should be voted on first.
Yeah, all right. We will now vote on a 10-minute unmod. Sorry about that. That's a bit of a mix-up on our end. 10-minute unmod. All those in favor? Okay, this passes unanimously. We are now in a 10-minute unmod. My apologies about the whole mix-up. We had a bit of a backroom error, but yeah, we're in a 10-minute unmod, and we'll make the breakout room shortly.
All the officers can stay on the call.
So yeah. Should we start one?
I remember seeing it.
Wait, we like reordered them.
Wait, guys, who got rid of the community outreach?
Yeah,
It's like gone now. I can't find it anymore.
Wait, okay, guys, that was like a really important section. So
Wait, it's
into, like,
supposed to be
history.
between A and R, so I'll just like insert it here. We can just redo it.
yeah, we can redo it, but
Please,
please.
if you go back and revert history, we have to like.
Yeah, just go to the
rechange-
doc history and then it should show up.
Okay. I'll just insert it. So like place it here.
Wait, I might have accidentally deleted it. My bad. Let me see.
Should we like label them by like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
No, I think this is fine right now. It might get really messy.
Wait, what was the section called?
Oh no, we're
Religious
just rewriting.
community outreach.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, sorry about that.
Should we like divide and conquer and work on separate parts of the thing?
Resolution.
I mean, that's kind of what we
Yeah.
are doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like education needs more work on it to expand like the sub clauses.
Yeah, if you want to add anything, go ahead.
Okay. I'll just like work wherever I see stuff I want to add to.
Yeah, that's what I'll do too. And we should also send some representatives to get like, what are they called?
I'll go get signatories from the other rooms, but we need a working paper first. So do you think this is sufficient?
I think it's pretty good.
I think right now we have like the bare like guidelines.
Okay.
You know, it just needs a little expansion. So I can go to the biggest breakout room.
Yeah.
Like
I copied the link and I'll go to which breakout room would you like to go to?
Hold on. I have a friend in room 2, so I think I can get support from her and then like
Okay.
or I have a delegation. Yeah.
There's 15 people there.
Ally.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go to room 6 then. Does that sound good?
Yeah, okay.
Paper. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you.
All right. The last one's supporting religious institutions.
Can I do that one? I remember I added most of my points on that one.
Sure, I can work on this one as well.
Okay.
Can I also work on that one?
Sure. So, who's left? Vietnam. Do you have one to work on yet?
Can I work on mental health task force with you? And
Right now we already have 2 countries working on it, but we only have 1 country on mental health campaign.
okay, I can do mental health campaign actually.
Okay, great.
Wait, actually, if you guys are interested in becoming signatory, just send me a note and I can add you.
Sure. We'll get back to you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Does anyone know how much time we have left?
Yeah, we have like about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, thanks. Wait, guys, can we actually leave the ideas here and make a separate part with preamble clauses and operative clauses?
We can probably start that on the next page.
Okay.
Oh, and Breakout Room 2 wanted me to also give you guys their resolution, so I'll just put that in the chat if you're interested. But I think they're all public, right? Like they're all shared with the same email.
Should we like sign our names for signatories?
Yeah.
Just write
I
your
feel like
country
no
name.
one's signing our paper, our resolution.
Yeah. Latvia did. So
I feel like it's a bit too early in resolution writing.
We could just ask them if they'd be a signatory and just write their name down. They don't have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Again, you know, we highly encourage you guys to sign, become a signatory for our resolution, as I think a lot of the solutions we suggest do benefit a lot of your country, the
Wait,
countries
is yours
you guys.
We know that Delegation Molly. Could you also please ask your block of if they'd like to be signatories for our paper?
Yes, I will do
'Cause I
that.
think a lot of our ideas would appeal to you guys too.
I think they already signed ours.
Oh no, we only have two.
We only have,
I'll sign your EDACT.
Oh wait, no, sorry, never mind.
Also, you can count me in, so just write down my name for your act.
And also mine too,
Okay,
please.
so Luxembourg, Monaco, and Romania, right?
Yeah.
Great.
I think, okay, that's just about everybody. All right, so coming back from that, are there any points or motions on the floor? Latvia?
Yes, I would like an 8-1 moderated discussion about incorporating mental health into religion.
Thank you. Ireland?
Motion for an 8-1 on discussing what was accomplished during Unmod.
Okay. Okay. Are there any points or motions on the floor? You can accept maybe two more. Seeing none, we will now vote on these motions, the most least disruptive. We'll start with Latvia's 8-1 on incorporating mental health and religion. Please vote at this time. So this is the relationship between mental health and religion. We are still missing a couple of votes. I think we have enough. This motion passes. All right. We are now in an 8-1 on the relationship between mental health and religion and religion too. Okay. Latvia, want to speak first or last?
I will speak last.
Thank you. All right. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Romania.
I'd like to speak on behalf of Block 9.
Sorry, could you give me 1 second? I
Yeah, sure,
forgot to
sorry.
update the timer. No worries, my bad. All right, whenever you're ready, Romania.
Okay, so on behalf of Block 9's CARE Act, which stands for COVID Response, Awareness, Access, and Religious Outreach and Education, with a special emphasis on religious outreach. So what we plan to do for religious and community outreach is to provide guidelines and informative mental health resources to trusted religious and community leaders. And we would also like to focus on the significant role they play on mental health in their communities. And we can do this by creating a regional directory of community support centers for primary and secondary care staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All those looking to speak, please raise your hands. France?
Okay, thanks, Chair. So this was a topic that was discussed in Breakout Room 2, and I believe was first proposed by Breakout Room 6, integrating religion and mental health services. I think I can speak on behalf of most of Breakout Room 2 when we say that we are heavily opposed against integrating religion into mental health services into religion. Most of the countries in Breakout Room 2 are free states, and we believe in the distinct separation of church and state. And we also fear that integrating religion and mental health services together will drive away most of the population from attaining mental health services, because not many people will take kindly to a government organization approaching their religion and forcing them to change their beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. All right. All those wishing to speak. Arlen?
While the delegation of Ireland agrees with France in separation of church and state, the delegation also believes that encouraging the training of religious leaders is also crucial in gaining the public's trust in mental health and and supporting people struggling with mental health. One aspect of Breakout Room 9 of our resolution, entitled the CARE Act, is religious and community outreach, which would provide guidelines and informative resources to trusted religious leaders in providing help for those in need. Thank you.
Delegate. All right. All those wishing to speak at this time, please raise your hand. Kosovo?
Thank you, Chair. It is commonly known that mental health has a stigma that prevents it from being effective. But research has shown that religion can positively impact mental health and the mind-body connection. So this committee should certainly include religious organizations in their support for mental health improvement. Kosovo understands France's perspective on religion and the connection between religion and states, but should also say that the citizens in several countries don't understand this difference, and mental health is a very taboo subject that they wouldn't like the government of faceless identity to control. Instead of avoiding religious organizations, we need to fund and support different methods of mental health programs, despite differences in culture. Join Breakout Room 6 if you have religious countries like mine.
Delegate. All right. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Chile.
So, may I go?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
So, I think the purpose of the World Health Organization is to help the masses. It's evident that there's no way we can help everyone. I think, at least in the beginning processes. If we look at the amount of people that are religious in the world, it is over 84% of the people are religious in the world, with only 16% not being religious. So by incorporating religion into these mental health mental health programs, we're helping a majority of the people in the world. People can convert, people can do other things, but I think we need to understand that a lot of people are already religious. So if we want to help the masses, incorporating religion with mental health is also I think the way to go.
Thank you, Delegate. All right. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hands. Jamaica.
As a part of Breakout Room 2, we believe in recommending the implementation of education in school curriculum as opposed to the church. We believe that religious groups hold incredible weight and it's not the appropriate place to introduce mental health ideas, as this could take us down a dangerous path. It would be difficult to regulate the curriculum as many religious groups are currently uncomfortable with the topic, and many countries may reject this idea. Our education plan is a gradual phasing in for education in schools, making sure that every student, not only the ones who are religious, have the resources to get help. If any of this seems interesting to you, please join Breakout Room 2.
Thank you, Delegate. All right. Next, I think the last speaker will be choosing for Latvia. Please raise your hand.
Thank you, Chair.
No, Latvia. Yeah. Yeah. Latvia, do you have a point of inquiry or something?
Oh, no, sorry.
No, we'll take one more speaker. Yeah. Okay, if we do not get another speaker for this, I will exhaust the caucus after Latvia's speech. All right, Latvia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Jamaica and France in that we should separate religion from mental health. When we try to impose mental health upon religious leaders or upon a religion, people will feel a little violated that a government is trying to impose on their religion. And not everybody is religious, and we should try to help everybody. And most people do have education. So if we weave this into education, we can help them while in school instead of with religion, because in religion, views are very traditional. And when we try to impose on that, people may be offended and they may be less likely to get help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, at this point, we will do one more we'll do one more caucus, and then from there we'll wrap up the committee session. So all those wishing to speak, please raise your hand. I'm sorry, if you have any points of motions, please raise your hands. Molly?
Motion for a 10-minute unmod.
Yeah, that's in order. Any other points of motions? Seeing none, we will now vote on Molly's motion for a 10-minute unmod. All those in favor or opposed, please vote. Okay, this is nearly unanimous consent on this one. All right, Anna will make the breakout rooms right now, and we'll be in a 10-minute unmod. Oh, looks like breakout rooms are open, so go.
How do you want to decide sponsors? It's like I know like everyone wants to be a sponsor.
Let's just do it like this. Who's really committed to this plan and will support it?
I can.
Yes, I will.
I wrote majority of the third clause, so I feel like I should be as well.
I'm okay. We could do Austria, Finland, and Jamaica if that's fine with everyone. Or good?
Can I sign off on the signatory?
Yeah, and then everyone else can just be signatories. There's not a big difference. You just vote on it in the end. And also, I wanted to mention a point of rural areas. Would we be open to a plan that sends health professionals to rural areas to train the existing medical professionals there? I think Finland mentioned previously that the health professionals in rural areas are like not specialized in anything, they're generalized in everything.
Yeah, but we want to make sure we have the funding for that.
So
Yeah, but the population there will more likely trust the pre-existing medical professionals because they've been in there for a while. So I think that could help.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah. Instead of targeting like religious leaders, we can like do like primary care doctors, right?
Yeah.
Or like for medical professionals in like in rural areas who are already there.
And if you want to
Perfect.
take initiative and like write the plan out, you're totally welcome to. It's like this is kind of your idea to like include it. So if you want to write it, go ahead.
I can work, but are we all like fine with that idea?
Yeah, that's a really good.
Okay.
Should I go to the other breakout rooms and ask for signatories, or do we have enough?
Oh, we have enough. We have
How
enough.
many people do we have?
There's 4 so far.
We should have exactly the right amount.
3 and 7. 7 plus actually.
Hi. So I'm from, so Delegation of Ireland is from Breakout Room 9. So our resolution is called the CARE Act. We strongly agree with your, one of your operative clauses on destigmatizing mental health issues. And so we were wondering if anyone here would be interested in becoming a signatory, sorry, I got that wrong, on our paper.
Oh, wait, what breakout room are you?
Breakout Room 9.
Okay, because I think we're gonna
I
send.
think I signed those.
I'm sorry, what?
Put the link in the
I
chat.
think I signed the signatory for that.
No, sorry, you didn't.
Okay,
Really? Okay, I'll send it.
I'd
be down.
Oh,
wait, Ireland, are you convincing people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, literally, you don't even have to go and put your name down. If you want to be a signatory, we can put it down for you. And like, it doesn't mean that you 100% agree with everything.
You have it.
That means
And
that
if you
you
hit-
want. Yeah.
You have 7.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's a 7 minimum, so you can add your names if you want to see it debated. It just shows that you just want to see it talked about. All right. Thank
Did
you.
you guys do the same for ours?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
You did? I don't see it, but okay. Or I don't see Carly's at least, but it's fine.
All right.
Okay, I see it. Never mind.
Wait,
Okay,
some
so
of
can we-
the like people in Breakout Room 2 still haven't signed the signatories.
Oman, if you're willing to, would you?
Yeah, I would sign it.
So we're not signing the religious one. Instead, we're signing the CARE Act.
Which one is the religious one? Is that the EDACT one?
That would be that'd be Breakout Room 6. So we're Breakout
I
Room
might
9.
have signed that one. I just wanted to see it debated. Can someone just help me with number 2 right now? I think I might need to add another point.
Yeah, I can add my point of sending professionals there to train the local.
No, I have that one. I wrote that one. Yeah.
Wait, can I add stuff about destigmatizing to the first clause? Like about putting that in the curriculum, or is that like repeating it?
If you think it'll flow, you're welcome to. I don't know if we talked about destigmatizing. Like,
Yeah, we didn't talk about it there, but we talk about it later, so.
if you want, you can. Oh wait, are you guys okay with that? If she does it in the first one? Too?
What was it? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, just like adding, like putting destigmatizing in like a mental health education in schools, even though we talk about it later.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry.
Me too.
4 minutes.
France, for the one you're doing here, wouldn't that be a better thing as like a sublet of this one? Wouldn't it be better under here? I'm not sure.
Wait, sorry, what are you pointing to?
The one you're doing about by educating primary care doctors.
Oops.
I didn't type that. That must have been
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to let you all know that I don't know if this is a problem in this block, but all students are eligible for awards, so nobody is not eligible for awards. Just a brief note.
Wait, what did Ian say?
All students eligible for an award.
We have 8 people for signatories.
There's no cap on signatories, just sponsors.
Oh.
So the more signatories, it's like the more like support. Maybe I don't know.
Didn't she say 7?
7 is the minimum.
7 minimum.
Oh, minimum. Oh god.
Okay, should I go get people to sign our thing then?
If they want, but like again, it's not a huge worry right now because like at least we have enough to get it like debated.
I think we have most of our main points in, but I think mostly funding has no main points, so maybe we should work on that. Okay. If we can find some specific nonprofit organizations that would potentially be able to help us on that, just so there's more detail and they can't like make our plan seem like really flimsy, that'd be good, I think.
Okay, I think the breakout room was gonna close in like a minute or so because it's almost been 10 minutes. So maybe after lunch we could focus more on that part. But like, do you guys have like specifics for funding by any chance?
No, not really.
Should we do like a
Molly
specific
mentioned a couple.
percentage?
I think Molly mentioned a couple of foundations that donated to mental health. I think it was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, like the Rockefeller Foundation.
Yeah. And the United Nations Foundation.
Iceland also has a couple, so
just copy off of theirs.
What a percent of GDP work? Because like countries anyway spend like a certain amount of their
the workforce, because we're not incentivizing health professionals outside of the mental health workforce to move into the mental health workforce. That they're not considering the mental health workforce because we're not asking them to consider it. We're not.
So is that better?
Yeah, I guess.
Or you can change it how you want it. And then we can go over it as a block later.
Well,
could like people who want, countries that want to be sponsors, please write their country name in the sponsor spot.
Yeah, I guess I could sponsor.
Israel, could you go to breakout room 2 and just ask them if they're interested in being signatories?
Okay.
Okay. I think missing one person. No? All right. So as a reminder, just remember that your working paper should be done by the beginning of next committee session. So when you finish your working paper, convert it into a PDF and email that PDF to lynbrookmun@gmail.com. Okay?
We'll give
And
you
make sure to
guys
title
a
it with your
10
working paper group name.
We'll give you guys 10 minutes at the beginning before you have to send them.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we
so
want to get
it's
these
not
done.
due exactly at the start. It's not due exactly at the start of next committee session. You do have a couple minutes. We're open to doing like a short unmod, but you should be relatively close to done.
Yeah. Okay. At this point, I'll now be taking motions. The chair would smile upon a motion to suspend debate. Ireland?
Motion to suspend debate.
That's in order. I will not be taking any more motions at this time. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Sorry, all those in favor, please vote, or don't vote against it. I don't know. All right, this passes unanimously. We have now suspended debate committee and will rejoin after lunch.
Alrighty, so some quick logistical updates. So lunch break starts at 12, so it just started, and we'll be starting again at 1 p.m. So make sure you join on time. We're going to be starting at exactly 1 p.m. because we are running a little bit behind. So make sure you join on time. Have a good lunch. We do encourage you to not work on things during lunch break, preferably to make sure that everyone has equal opportunity to do to work on papers and whatnot. So please don't work on your position or your working papers during lunch. We'll see you all in an hour.